Hey guys, Gavin Battlefield Bricks here for the first episode of Building Kharkov. Thanks for everyone who watched my last video announcing this mock series and going over some awesome mocks. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure to give it a watch after this video. Now let's start the series off with a goal of 500 likes in the first week for Building Kharkov. After I finished Con, I was really looking for some inspiration for what battle I wanted to take on next. I knew I wanted to do something with drastically different atmosphere as I really didn't want to work with green again. I went ahead and picked out a few comments from the finale of Building Con to toy around with and see if anything really spoke to me. Once I started building in the snowbanks and burying the dead grass and layers of snow, I had to do my past self some justice. This is one of my builds from 10 years ago. This was on my first channel, it was my first video, my first build series, and my first take on a winter scene. Now I have come a long way since then, and I really wanted to make a younger Battlefield Bricks proud. So thank you to Magazine Trommel for the suggestion, and I'm sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly. Let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see me build, and maybe I'll take your suggestion for my next mock series. For the first episode, we're going to be easing into things here, and just be going over the basic plan and layout of the mock and breakdown and some techniques of what I'm going to be doing with that smaller diorama. Now, I'm no artist, so you'll have to excuse these drawings I've done to help show you guys what I'm visualizing here for the whole mock. As you can see here, Kharkov is going to be 2x4 of the large 48x48 gray base plates, so it's just a little bit smaller than Con was in its final form. This time I wanted to build more landscape-based scenery instead of the main streets and buildings of a main city. So this is taking place more in between the cities of Belgorod and Kharkov. The scene here is going to be depicting an engagement between some Germans over here on the left with my Panzer IV-H designed by Panzer Brick Labs that I showcased in my mini diorama, and a Tiger 1 up top left here. And then there are the Russians over here on the right with a knocked out T-34 up front and a KV-1 pulling in from behind to support from the rear. We're also going to have an area above them with a Gaz MM truck and a M42 anti-tank gun with a little trench network kind of that's like dug out into the snow and dirt. Like I had the church in Con as a main focal point, I knew I wanted to have another large visual interest point for this mock. So for Kharkov, I wanted to build something I've always wanted to build, but never really had a reason to. A truss railway bridge. There's just something so aesthetically pleasing to me about them, even though I'm not really interested in trains, I just love them. I think a winter scene here could really showcase this off perfectly. So with the bridge taking up a large portion of the mock, it's going to be pushed back to the rear of the scene to kind of frame the whole thing. So for a bridge to make sense, it really needs to be going over something like a ravine, gorge, or a river. I wanted to go with a river for this one, but I'm still deciding if I wanted it to be a frozen river that's been snowed over, that the minifigures could walk across, or a partially frozen river with water still flowing, but there's ice built up along the sides of the riverbanks and ice flowing downstream. Let me know down in the comments what you think I should do. We are also going to have a few buildings over here on the right, like some log cabins for the Soviets to use as cover, but I think this front one here is going to have one of the corners blown out and on fire. And there will be a mix of snow-covered coniferous and deciduous trees mixed throughout the mocks, leaning more towards the left side to give the Germans a little bit of cover and like they're coming out of a forest. Now that I've kind of gone over the basic layout and you guys have a general idea of what I'm visualizing for the end result of this mock, let's get into a breakdown of some of the techniques and how I plan on doing Kharkov. Alright, and here is that little diorama I made, just kind of showcasing how I wanted the overall atmosphere to look for Kharkov, in regarding like snow techniques, trees, and stuff regarding like that. As you can see, for a lot of the ground cover here, it's mostly just going to be a mixture of tile with a few studs here and there to break up that really flat texture, and to also give me some more minifigure posing possibilities. Turning this around, you can kind of see there's some wedge plates here actually lining where the tracks of the tank are. I cut into the snow with a layer of reddish brown here to show the tank kind of moving through the snow and leaving its track marks in the mud beneath it. And for these little grass pieces here, the stems were actually a little bit too long to just kind of stud into place, so I had to get these 2/3 bricks with a hole in it to accommodate the entire stem of not only these tan grass stems, but also the reddish brown ones that I decided to more exclusively keep towards the back of the mock where the forest is, as some like dead bushes or something. Another aspect I really wanted to focus on was getting the trees to look correct. These trees aren't the final design of what I'm going to be putting in. I'm planning on removing... Here, I'll bring one of these closer so you can kind of see how they're assembled. So it's just a Travis brick with a ton of clips on them. I had seen this design from a city builder here on YouTube that I've completely forgotten their name at the moment, but you just stack a bunch of these on top of each other, and you have a core that is more Travis bricks just all stacked on top of each other, and they eventually give off this really nice kind of pine tree shaping. The top third of the trees, I'm planning on swapping out those clips from dark green to white to try and better reflect a snow-covered pine tree. And then for the other trees here, it's my basic tree technique that I use for pretty much all of my mocks at this point. It's just a lot of, here I'll turn it around even. It's just flex tube with some brown minifigure hands and the brown cable pieces wrapped around, and then just every once in a while I'll throw in a 5x6 limb element in white to give off a more snow-covered foliage look. And for the hills and everything, I found that curved slopes are going to work a lot better in this situation than just normal angled slopes like 45-degree. So a lot of these is just a lot of curved slope with only a few of the normal slopes mixed in to just kind of break up the texture. So I'll definitely be having to go back and order a lot more of these curved slope because I think that they just sell the effect the best. Another thing I just wanted to go over really quickly was the minifigures that I'm planning on using for this mock. So of course there's going to be a lot of Germans and Russians, but I had to go about collecting a whole new set of armies basically of winter camouflage Germans and also Russians, since I've never really collected Russian figures before. But there's been a lot of new releases from various companies of Russians and Germans in winter camouflage schemes, so I made sure to get a couple of ones that really spoke to me and stuck out, also that were available when I had money in my bank account. But for a majority of my winter Germans here, they are going to be in the half camouflage winter parkas from TMC. I also got a bunch of their winter head wraps, and for the Germans with the cloth, they're from Brick Fabric. They look absolutely stunning. I got some of their parkas and also some greatcoats as well to add in some variation and not keep all of these minifigures looking the same. For the Russians as well, those are going to be from Brick Fabrics and a new company that I'm trying out called Neverbrick RU. Both of these figures, I decided to have dead in this depiction just not to overcrowd the mock with combat scenes, but I was figuring that for our Russians, they would kind of need to be bundled up a little bit more, so I got a lot of those trench coats, well, not trench coats, but the great coats from Brick Fabric. But yeah, I think overall this mock kind of perfectly captures how I want the feel of Kharkov to be without going all the way with all of my ideas. And with all of that taken care of, I want to say thank you guys so much for watching episode 1 of Building Kharkov here on YouTube. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below if you guys have any suggestions or ideas for the mock. But besides that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.